Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you for him, and I am so grateful. I'm so happy as well. Sorry, my heart is beating very fast. I met my husband 4 years ago, and you've been telling me about you, and I was like, yes, that's nice, you know. And then a month ago, we went to see you in Los Angeles, and my life changed. I'm 33 years old, and my life changed completely.
Your life hasn't changed, but your perspective of it has, which is what life is perspective, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get everything. It's almost like, duh, but
That's that moment of remembering who you really
absolutely.
are and what you really know. Yeah.
I've been in a few years ago, I was
New
in
title for a book. Duh.
Right? So I think I'm a very, very good manifestor. I mean, before I had a teaching in my life. When I look back on my life, I think I know, I felt it. I'm a very good creator, which comes with sometimes a downside, because I'm very, very good at creating everything I want to have. I mean, I'm from France. I always wanted to be in the USA, married, have dogs, and that's my life today, you know? But in the same time, I think I'm good at creating things that I don't want.
Well, remember that the contrast is what parlays the desire. And it's the managing of that contrast that is the balance that is so delicious and fun. Because if you could ever get it done, and you can't, if you could ever get it done so there wasn't more contrast that was causing you to ask for more, then there would be no energy flowing. And so once you get that clear in your understanding, that sometimes your inner being, you understand the concept of your inner being, the reality of the existence of your inner being. Sometimes your inner being will actually inspire you into something that you call contrast and unwanted, because it's the next logical step to cause you to formulate an asking that will shore up a whole bunch of stuff you've already put into your vortex. Because it all starts with asking. It's all about supply and demand. It's all about demand and then supply. It's all about cause and then effect. It's all about asking and then it being given. And so if something doesn't happen that causes you to ask, a lot of people are so sensitive to not wanting anything to ever be a little unsettled in their life that they don't let themselves ask for much. They just try to keep everything reined in as much as they can. They don't ask for bigness. They don't ask for much more than what they already have, because they fear that that upheaval is out of balance, and therefore it's something not to be appreciated. Therefore it's something to feel regret about, when what it really is necessary for desire, necessary for step one. Do you know all creation takes place in step one? That's when you do all your launching of all of your rockets. That's when it happens. Step two is source just lines up with what you've asked for. And step three is you let it in enough that it manifests so that others can see it. But the creation happened in that contrast. Don't you like knowing that? And aren't you sort of ready to stop condemning the contrast and start embracing it and appreciating it and even reveling in the discovering of it? It's like Esther one time was dusting an etagere in their house. Several heavy shelves with treasures on them, sitting on little pegs. And Esther didn't realize the precarious situation, that when she just rested her dust cloth, that it was just the last touch that was going to cause that shelf to lose its position on that peg. So the top shelf dropped onto the next and onto the next and onto the next, and everything went crashing to the floor. And Jerry is in the other room, and he yelled, "Stand still, don't move," because he heard the velocity of the breaking of the glass. And sure enough, there were shards of glass sticking into the wood floor around Esther's bare feet. It was very exciting. And Esther just stood still, feeling so embarrassed about what she had done. And Jerry said, oh good, more to buy. He saw it as opportunity. Replacing that stuff is fun, finding treasures. And so one of the things that had broken, they thought of it as an art sculpture. It was a Kuan Yin, god of compassion, although they didn't know that at that time. It was just pretty, just set on that shelf in such a good way. And so for years they looked for a replacement for that. Jerry liked how soft the face was and how beautifully focused the hands were. It wasn't expensive, it was just special. So they looked and 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 looked. Esther would say, what about that one? No, not quite right. What about that one? No, not quite right. That one's not tall enough. That one's not quite. So for years and 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 years, they looked for that. So the other day, Esther is in a place in San Antonio looking for some art for her wall in her new house. And the owner of the shop took her into a back room, his personal office, in fact, climbed up on a ladder and reached deep into a shelf for some rolled art that he thought she might like, and she did. And while he's up on the ladder, reaching, Esther's looking around his office, and there is that identical, exact piece to the exact detail. So he climbed down from his ladder, and Esther said, I would like to purchase that from you. He said, it's not for sale. And Esther said, I get that. But I would really like to purchase that. And he said, no, it's not for sale. What do you think about these? I think they're lovely. I would really also like to purchase that. And it's not for sale. It's not for sale. I get that. I had one exactly like it. And in 1995, I broke it. And I've been looking for its replacement ever since. And then my husband died a few years ago, and I've been looking for it ever since that, too. I would really like to purchase that. And it's not for sale. So they measured the other artwork and laid it out on the table and decided what they were going to do with it and what kind of frame they would put around it and how many pieces they would make out of it. And Esther was there quite a while. And then he said to her, I've decided to sell that to you. My mother told me to. He said, that was a gift from my mother, and she thinks I should sell it to you. And Esther said, that's because Jerry and your mother are hanging out together. In fact, I'm sure that's why I'm here. I'm sure he knew it was here. I'm sure that's how I got here. The non-physical is in cahoots all the time. In other words, non-physical energies always guiding, and sometimes guiding you to what seems like a dead end or a wild goose chase or even upheaval that you don't need. In other words, every piece of guidance doesn't turn out in the moment to be so obviously right on track. In fact, most of the time, it doesn't look so obviously right on track. Even in this scenario, it's not for sale. Yearning. It's not for sale. But you don't understand. I found something that I've been looking for a really, 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 really long time. Look over there. Grab it and run. I think I smell gas. You might want to run upstairs and check it. In other words, Esther was really, really, really focused on her wanting there. Really, really wanting. It seemed like a moment gone very wrong. You don't understand. I found what I've been looking for a long, long time. And you want it? You think it belongs to you?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me now because I'm in a place where I meditate every day. I'm satisfied, but eager for more. But sometimes it's very hard because when you're so satisfied, how can you reach for
you need a lot more trauma and drama in your life.
No.
No. We're on it.
No, please, no. I had enough. I had enough. And
Well, then would you like to edit your own vibrational offering? Instead of saying it's very hard, would you like to focus what you really mean? I have been misunderstanding. What you're saying does not go down well in a world of deprivation. His words were, I've got it so good that I don't have strong desire pulsing within me. Most people don't want to hear that from you, but we don't want you to care what most people want to hear from you. Did you hear us earlier? You're not ever going to get it done, and you are not ever going to be free of contrast. And you know what's really going on? Here's what's really going on. You're really going to appreciate this, because this is what's really going on. It's not that there is no contrast. It's that you refuse to reap the reward of it. Because you have believed what the peanut gallery has been saying for so long, those who are disappointed in where you are.